Do you know what time it is? It's time, ladies and gentlemen. The American people, the awesome power, resourcefulness, and resilience of the American people must come forward this year. You must elect Ted Budd to the United States Senate. You must return control of the House of Representatives, the gavels and the subpoena power to the Republican Party. You must elect a strong Republican majority to the North Carolina Supreme Court. You must do what Americans do. It is our government. The government responds to us. The government is responsible to secure our rights. That is the government you must demand. That is the government you must make sure is delivered.
Why? Well, you just saw the result when recently the Democrat-controlled North Carolina Supreme Court overturned congressional districts drawn by the Republican legislature, defying the will of voters who elected Republicans to draw those districts, and effectively costing us 2 conservative congressional seats at exactly the moment that it is crucial that we wrest power from the radical leftists who now dominate the federal government. And that's why the GRNC Political Victory Fund and our super PAC, the Judicial Fairness Project, have been increasingly active in judicial races. Our goal is to elect originalist judges who will not legislate from the bench as those on the left invariably do. Now, I've known our next guest for several years. He is Judge Richard Dietz. He is not only a strong constitutionalist, but also a judge who understands clearly why the framers drafted the Second Amendment. And he's even argued on behalf of gun rights before the U.S. Supreme Court. He joined the Court of Appeals in 2014 and is now the third most senior judge on the 15-member court. He's heard thousands of appeals in his time as a judge. As a lawyer, he was a renowned appellate expert arguing cases across the country, including in the U.S. Supreme Court. He has distinguished himself on the court by writing thoughtful opinions that are concise and easy for the public to read and understand. He goes the extra mile to make our legal system more accessible and understandable to all, and he has been a tremendous help to grassroots North Carolina and to me in making sure that we understand the dynamics of some of these races. And now, happily, Judge Dietz, although as noted, he doesn't have a primary, but he is running for seat 3 on the North Carolina Supreme Court, which is currently open. If he wins, Republican justices will form a majority on the court, potentially putting a stop to the activism by the left, which has been subverting the will of voters. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Judge Richard Dietz.
All right, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Larry, so much for this wonderful facility. It's great to be here. So I'm Richard Dietz, one of your judges on the Court of Appeals, and as you just heard, I'm running to get a promotion, take a step over to our Supreme Court, and put judicial conservatives in the majority on our state's highest court. So I appreciate, Paul, the introduction with all those little facts about me, and now you've heard another fact about me, which is also I've been named in a lawsuit. I've been sued by Congressman Dan Bishop. So, but I can tell you that I can't talk about the lawsuit. There's a lot of rules about judges, but I can tell you my personal view, and my personal view is that when we decide stuff as elected officials, as judges, because you all are deciding whether or not we're doing a good job and we should stay in office, you should know who's deciding those cases. And so my personal view is we should change the rules and disclose all this information. It's transparency. Everybody here and everybody in our state has a right to know what we're doing as judges. We shouldn't be doing it in secret. But let me tell you about why our Supreme Court is so important, and then I'm going to hand it over to the other two folks sitting here. They have primaries, so you really need to hear from them. And, this is tough for us. You sort of had the big names already come and speak, and I know you all are getting tired. And this is sort of like real life for us. It's just like when you go and you vote for judges on the ballot, and we're down there by the dog catcher, We're always coming last in all the speeches, too, and you guys are tired of hearing from us. And it's tough for us. I went on Paul's radio show, and I made a joke about this, so some of you may have seen my car when you pulled in. So as a statewide official, I have a license plate. It's got the state seal on it. And it says Court of Appeals. It's got number 3 on it because that's my number in seniority on the court. So it kind of stands out. And so that means, when I'm at the gas station or something, a lot of times people walk up to me, I see them looking at my plate, and they say, Court of Appeals, you some kind of judge? And I'll say, yeah. And then it's always the same thing, that they want to tell me about their traffic ticket or the divorce or, that sort of thing. And I have to tell them, look, folks, I'm not allowed to talk to you about your case, but it's also a learning experience for me because I also have to say, and also you should know, if your traffic ticket's in the North Carolina Court of Appeals, something must have gone horribly wrong for you. You know, did you murder somebody while you're getting your traffic ticket? That's not what we do. But it helps me understand that most folks in our state don't know much about what's going on in the courts, and it's real important right now. So we have a majority on our Supreme Court. They're judicial liberals. I'm not happy with the way they're ruling, and I'll tell you why. As a judge, another thing that I get asked a lot is, what's the most important part of the Constitution? And for me, it's easy. I don't even have to think about it. There's all kinds of checks and balances. Think about all those rights we have in the Bill of Rights. What's the most important part? It's easy. It's the first three words. It's literally the big words. It's we the people. That's the most important part of the Constitution. Where do our rights come from? Nobody showed up and said, hey, guess what? Here's some rights. We the people created these rights. And my concern right now is there are too many judicial liberals. They're moving into these positions as judges, and what's their view? They look at those three words and they see we the judges. They think, you know, it's too hard to amend the Constitution. So we just need to change the rules ourselves, and I think that's dangerous. The rights come from you all. They come from us. They come from we the people. And that's what I'm going to bring to the Supreme Court. My focus when I get there, I'm going to defend your constitutional rights. I'm going to protect the rule of law. I'm not going to legislate from the bench. So that's my commitment to all of you. Now, here's one other thing. I brought these cards with me, and you really want to take my card because I need you to remember my name in November. You need to show up and vote for me, right? There's another thing you heard Paul mention. So on the back of the card, I don't have a bunch of information about me. All I have is a courtroom sketch. You can't take photographs in the U.S. Supreme Court. So what I put on the back of my card to tell folks what need to know about me, the courtroom sketch of me defending gun owner rights in that case in the U.S. Supreme Court. It's the Super Bowl of courts. You can see the 9 justices. Here I am. Yeah, so it's a good way. If you want to see one of the cards, I'm going to stick around afterwards. Come up and get one of these. It's kind of cool to look at this picture. Now, I want to turn it over to these two folks because they've got primaries. But these are your conservative judges you've got to elect. I've endorsed both of these folks, Trey Allen and Judge Michael Stadding. I want you to hear from them and listen carefully because you're going to have to go in May and choose in these primaries. And these two folks, they're fantastic. They need your support. So thank you all so much. It was great to be here.